All right, learners. So you know how much we all want to be like crazy efficient, right? And part of that is making sure our writing just sings, even if we don't have like hours to pour over every single comma.
It's true. Time is precious.
Totally. So that's what makes this deep dive extra juicy. We're diving into Grammarly, that AI grammar guru that's everywhere these
Oh,
days.
yeah, everyone's buzzing about it.
Right. And we're going deep with this article from the Internet Reference Services Quarterly. It's called, get this, Don't Let Grammarly Overwrite Your Style and Voice.
Ooh, getting spicy already. I like it.
Right. So we're going to unpack all that, what it does well, where it kind of trips up, and most importantly, how you can use it without like sacrificing your own awesome writing voice.
Because who wants to sound like a robot, right?
The worst. Okay, so the article kicks off with this really interesting backstory about Grammarly. Get this. It started in Ukraine. Can you believe that?
No way. I had no idea.
Right. Apparently, it was all about helping students survive, like the terrifying world of academic writing.
Which, let's be honest, can be brutal. All those footnotes, citations, it's a minefield.
Tell me about it. Okay, but here's the thing, and this is where it gets interesting. Grammarly didn't just like stay in its lane. It went from this niche tool to this like multi-featured platform.
Oh, yeah, it does, like a zillion things now. It's not just about commas and semicolons anymore.
Right. It's like it went from being a spell check on steroids to having like a whole team of editors at your fingertips. You've got your basic grammar and spelling, but now it's also suggesting different ways to phrase things, checking for plagiarism.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. I mean, it's like having a personal assistant whose sole job is to make your writing sparkle.
Totally. And that's what's got everyone talking. But then the article throws us a curveball. They start talking about this other side of AI and writing.
Right. The big question, is it just a tool, or is it starting to, like, make artistic decisions for us?
Exactly. And is that always a good thing? I mean, on the one hand, it's amazing to have something catching those little errors we all miss.
Totally. Like, who hasn't sent an email only to realize later, oh no, I used the wrong there?
Ugh, the worst. Okay, but what happens when AI starts messing with our unique voice? Like that special sauce that makes our writing ours?
Ooh, that's where things get really interesting.
And that's what the article really digs into. It's like, yeah, Grammarly can be this awesome assistant, right?
Yeah.
But it can also be a little bossy.
Oh, totally. And the writers they interviewed, they weren't shy about calling that out. Like a lot
Yeah.
of them were saying Grammarly's suggestions, sometimes they just made their writing sound like bland.
Generic.
Exactly, like it was written by a robot.
Yeah.
And that's like the opposite of what most writers are going for.
Totally. Like, take the sentence, the old house slumped on its foundation, whispering tales of forgotten dreams. Okay, a little dramatic, but you get the idea.
I love it. Very evocative.
Right. But Grammarly might be like, too much imagery. Try this. The old dilapidated house sat on the property.
Ah, painful. All the life is sucked out of it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Clarity and correctness are important, don't get me wrong, but
But not at the expense of soul, of that unique voice that makes a writer's work stand out.
yes. And the article makes this really interesting comparison. One writer said that relying only on Grammarly is like, okay, imagine using those super strict grammar books from like 100 years ago.
Those things were brutal. No room for creativity at all.
Right. And it makes you wonder, are we like stifling the evolution of language by doing that?
Interesting. Like by being so obsessed with these rigid rules.
Exactly. Instead of embracing how language changes, how it adapts. I mean, new words are added to the dictionary every year.
That's true. Language is alive.
Exactly. And we as writers, we're part of that. So yeah, Grammarly can be a super helpful sous chef, prepping all our ingredients.
Cupping those adverbs, dicing those run-on sentences.
You know it. But we are still the chefs. We bring the creativity, the heart, that special something that makes our writing sing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us to another crucial point that the article highlighted. No matter how awesome Grammarly gets,
It can't replace a good human editor. Like, they all agreed on that.
because a real live editor, they bring something, and an algorithm just can't replicate context. They understand the nuances.
It's like they can tell when you're breaking the rules on purpose,
Yeah.
Because it makes the writing stronger, more impactful.
Exactly, like that sentence fragment we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
A human editor gets that. They know you're not just being grammatically lazy, you're making a choice.
Yes. And the article had this quote that I thought was so perfect. It said, publishers are not looking for perfectly edited work. They have people for that.
It's so true. They're looking for those stories, those voices that just grab you and don't let go. That's what readers crave.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great takeaway from our Grammarly deep dive, right? It's a tool and it can be a super powerful one, but at the end of the day, we're the writers. We're the ones with the stories to tell.
It's all about finding that balance, right, between leveraging these amazing tools and staying true to your own creative vision.
Totally. So to all you learners out there, keep experimenting, keep playing with language. Don't be afraid to break a few rules along the way. And hey, if Grammarly helps you catch a typo or two, great, use it. But don't let it steal your sparkle. Keep writing, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.